Yeah.
Let's just go. Whoop.
Just go. Ooh, wow, the microphone. European Summit, huh? Hello, and welcome to this year's Juvenes Translatores award ceremony.
In Brussels. Hello, everyone. I am Beatrice, and this is Micha, and we are both translators at the European Commission, more specifically at the Directorate General for Translation, or as we fondly refer to it, DGT. You might remember us if you were paying attention from the online winners announcement back in February, and now we're here, live and in the flesh.
We will be your hosts for this morning at this magnificent Charlemagne building in Brussels. The award ceremony will take about an hour and a half. We might speed it up a bit. It's being web streamed, and it will remain online. As every year, we have got our friends, the interpreters, here, to help us out for this celebration of multilingualism. If you would like to use interpreting, put on the headphones and pick a number corresponding to the language indicated on either screen.
So this year's contest was the 17th in a row. The first one took place in 2007 when most of you winners were a 1 year old, a year old. And in case you're wondering, yes, some of the winners of the past have indeed become our colleagues here in Brussels and in Luxembourg. One of them is Anne, who won the contest for the Netherlands in 2011 and now works as a freelance interpreter for SKIC, which is the Directorate General for Interpretation. And I think she's with us today. Anne, if you're here, wave. Hello, Anne.
Hi. Another one is Tina, who works as a Slovenian translator in Luxembourg. Why Luxembourg? Because DGT is in two places at the same time. We're a bunch of nearly 2,000 staff, and most language departments are split between Luxembourg and Brussels.
In fact, we're a bit all over the EU. We've got not only translators in Brussels and in Luxembourg, but also field officer in every member state who were your point of contact for this contest.
Okay. But that is more or less enough about us. This event is about you. You're young, you're smart, you're daring, you're confident, and you're up for a challenge, which is what landed you here. You have made it through. In a crowd of more than 3,000 students, you have used 155 language combinations, which is just slightly more than the two of us can muster between us.
Just slightly.
And the fastest one of you took only 1 hour and 10 minutes to complete the test.
And now you are all here in Brussels to collect your awards. But before you do, we will hear from some of you and from two of the teachers as well. To get things going, I'd like to invite to the stage our Director General, Mr. Christos Elinides, who will share his thoughts on this year's event, the topic, and the upcoming European elections.
Beatrice and Micha for this introduction. Grazie. Fala.
Prego.
That's all I can say. Dear winners of the 2023 Juvenes Translatores competition, dear parents and teachers, dear colleagues, distinguished guests, welcome to the 17th award ceremony of the Juvenes Translatores contest. A contest that, as Beatrice already said, has been running since 2007 with one single ambition: to promote language learning in schools throughout Europe. It is a pleasure for me to welcome you all here today and to congratulate you, the winners of the 2023 Juvenes Translatores contest. A very special welcome also to distinguished guests from other European institutions, the director from the Translation Center. We have representatives from the Court of Auditors, the Court of Justice, the European Parliament, and also Commission Services, DG Education and Culture, and of course I would like to thank them for being here a very special welcome to the Director General for Interpretation, who is here with us. And this is the Director General for Interpretation in the Commission, my colleague and friend, Mrs. Genoveva Ruiz Calavera. Thank you. It's an honor to have you here. I also extend a very warm welcome to all of you attending today's awards ceremony, whether online, virtually out there, or here in the European Commission's Charlemagne building in Brussels. Charlemagne is often called the father of Europe. He is also credited with saying that having another language is like having a second soul. In other words, language is both a fundamental means of communicating with others and a principal element of our humanity. When we learn a new language, we are not just learning new words and grammar rules. We are also seeing the world in new ways. The Juvenes Translatores is a fantastic contest, reaching now, like we said, 17th years, the same age as many of you. It is a pity that this contest was not up and running when I was 17. But then I think that even if he had run X decades ago, and if I had participated, my chances of winning would have been slim at best. Maybe my personal experience in studying ancient Greek at the time had such a distressing impact on me that I decided my craving was for science and not for languages. In fact, I decided there and then that Greek and English were enough for me. Well, I broke that promise to myself when I joined the European Commission because I had to learn a third language. So at the age of 45, I started learning French. And trust me, for older people, learning a new language is much harder than it is for you. But I did discover that learning a new language keeps the brain alert and the mind buzzing. So there you have it. Language learning never ends. A message for young and older people alike. In showcasing linguistic talent and opening our eyes to the intricacies and artistry of translation, it also opens our minds to other languages and cultures and to other ways of looking at the world. In a nutshell, Juvenes Translatores is an enriching experience for all who take part in it. This year, already has been said, we had more than 3,000 students participating in the contest from over 700 schools throughout Europe. The fact that, in addition to the 27 winners, the number of special mentions has again exceeded 200 participants shows that this year's entries have excelled in quality as much as in quantity. So, as this year's winners, you should be extremely proud of what you have achieved. I am sure that parents, family members, friends, and teachers are equally proud for you, because your success reflects the valuable support that you have received at home and at school. I know for a fact that some of you had not even thought of applying until your teachers encouraged you to do that. Believe me, you will cherish this support and encouragement for a long time to come and want to share it with others. Juvenes Translatores is a celebration of linguistic talent and diversity. Linguistic and cultural diversity is one of our European Union's great strengths. The EU has always been open to countries that share its values: human rights, democracy, the rule of law, and equality. Those values remain as valid and respected as ever. As we speak, several European countries are in the process of implementing the necessary reforms to become EU members. Of course, every time the EU goes through an enlargement process, its linguistic and cultural diversity also expands. The single enlargement so far came 20 years ago today. In May 2004, the EU experienced what has come to be called the Big Bang enlargement, not the Big Bang series, but the Big Bang enlargement. 10 new member states, including my home country, Cyprus, joined the EU project for peace and prosperity. With this Big Bang, the number of official EU languages almost doubled overnight. Inevitably, this put a lot of extra pressure on our translation and interpretation services. But thanks to the committed, professional, open-minded approach, they made a real success of the challenges that the Big Bang brought. This is no surprise, because translators are no strangers to making a success of challenges and changes. In fact, the profession has already changed a great deal in a relatively short space of time. For example, the days of translating using a pen and a paper or a dictaphone feel like a distant memory. Now, with the latest advances in artificial intelligence, like many other areas of work and life, the world of translation can expect new challenges and changes, but new opportunities and benefits as well. Developments in artificial intelligence continue to happen at a very fast pace, very fast speed. But the translation industry has always benefited from being fast out of the blocks in adopting state-of-the-art technologies. Here in the European Commission and the Directorate General of Translation, we continue to pioneer in exploring possible AI use cases for a range of users, including translators, other colleagues in the EU, member state public administrations, businesses, academia, and so on. AI has the potential to save time so that we focus less on the more repetitive tasks and are free to be more strategic and creative in what we do. Along these lines, we have developed our own machine translation system, e-translation, based on neural technology since 2017. In fact, we have been implementing AI coding and using large linguistic models here in DGT since 2017, delivering AI-powered services like speech-to-text transcription, text summarization services, or production of electronic briefings. And our work doesn't stop here. The plan is to continue to add similar services and other products taking advantage of the technological benefits of generative AI. But we also have a responsibility to make sure that the way we use AI is lawful, safe, and trustworthy. We take this responsibility very seriously. And here in the EU, we are very proud that we have adopted the world's first comprehensive legal framework in AI, the AI Act. This legislation will provide developers and users with clear requirements and obligations regarding the use of AI in the whole of Europe. Using AI in translation is and will remain a learning process. But it will be much easier and less risky if we keep ethics front and center. Our moral compass must always guide us in using technologies like Gen AI. And as we explore the opportunities ahead of us, let's not forget that language is more than rules and words. It's a dynamic, living entity shaped by culture, history, and human experience. And for that reason, only human beings have the awareness, emotional intelligence, and empathy to grasp its subtleties, nuances, and the broader context. That is one good reason why we will always need professional, gifted linguists. Another reason is that multilingualism still matters to Europeans. In May 2022, we had the Conference on the Future of Europe with millions of Europeans involved, and it was called on the EU to promote multilingualism as a bridge to other cultures from an early age. We live in a world of mis- and disinformation, a world where the truth is often lost in sound bites and eye-catching social media posts, and where war is still raging on the European continent. In this world, the bridges that multilingualism builds are more important than ever. Thanks to our linguists, people right across the EU, from Valletta to Tallinn, from Lisbon to Bucharest, can access the same trustworthy information about how the EU works, our political initiatives, legislative activities, and so on. This is a very important pillar in the democratic union we aspire to have, because it means that we can all make the same informed choices about how we want the EU to work for us. One of these choices is just around the corner. In June this year, from the 6th until the 9th of June, we will be voting for a new European Parliament. The European Parliament election process is the utmost expression of democracy and freedom. The democracy and freedom denied to many millions of people around the world. The democracy and freedom that our neighbors in Ukraine are fighting to preserve. The democracy and freedom that we often take for granted. So, I invite all of you who are old enough to exercise your democratic right and cast your vote in June. Those of you who know some French may well know that one of the words for vote, voix, is also the word for voice. It's time for you to make your voices heard. And in keeping with this year's Juvenes Translatores theme, to dare to make a difference. Of course, we won't all be voting for the same people or parties, but that's what makes democracy an essential element in the DNA of our civilization. It enables us to celebrate our diversity while at the same time championing the values that unite us. In short, a vote in June is a vote to reaffirm the EU motto, unity in diversity. Ladies and gentlemen, just across the road from where we are now, painted on the side of a building on Rue de la Loi is a huge, very colorful mural. If you haven't seen it already, it's worth looking at it. Designed by Belgian artist Julien Crevel, known as Novadet, they all have nicknames. It evokes the European district and features a bird, symbolizing the values of peace and freedom that the EU has always nurtured. And across the mural are the words, "The future is Europe." I must say that thanks to talented young people like you, Europe looks very bright. The future of Europe looks very bright. We have with us today a number of translators from DGT who are happy to welcome all of you, winners, teachers, and parents tomorrow at our head office. They will share with you their experience and what they actually do as translators in the European Commission. I would like to thank especially all the translators in DGT who either marked or authored the papers for this year's competition. Thank you. Allow me also to express my sincere thanks to our interpreters, our fellow linguists in the booths behind you and above you, all around us, for their significant role in keeping communication channels open. Thank you. My thanks go also to DGT's communication unit that has once again excelled in the organization for this competition. But most of all, I want to say a wholehearted well done to all the winners, their teachers, and congratulations also to the parents of these promising young talents. My dear winners of the 2023 Juvenes Translatores competition, I have seen your posts, stories on social media, and I know many of you have boundless dreams and ambitions. Pursue them, believe in yourself, go after them. Not all of you plan to become translators or linguists, but rest assured that your language skills will serve you well, whatever path you choose to follow now or in the future. Thank you, enjoy the ceremony and the rest of your stay here in Brussels. Now it's time for you to take center stage, so let us celebrate your achievement, and thank you very much. Back to Beatrice and Micha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christos. After the opening address, it's time to invite to the stage our Juvenes speakers.
Okay, we call them Juvenes Oratores, you know that.
I do.
Should be up there somewhere as well. Come on. We will lend an ear to everyone who wished to address our audience. And first up, we have Fionnan O'Quishtela from Ireland. Fionnan, if you want to join us on stage.
Microphone for the speaker, please. Microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very honoured to stand in front of you. Microphone for the speaker, please. Microphone for the speaker. We don't have a microphone for the speaker.
Let's put this on. There you go.
I want to talk to you about aspects that are important in my own life. I'm going to talk about an area that's very special to me, and that's the Irish language. I live in an Irish-speaking area called Connemara. Most people there speak Irish as their first language in their daily lives. I was able to develop my love for Irish from a very young age, and I would like to acknowledge my special language as I stand here today. I feel very lucky to live in a beautiful rural part of the west of Ireland. It's a very special area. It has special landscapes. The people are special. The culture is special. And of course, we have a special language. Personally, I'm very proud to win this prize. But in reality, I'm not really looking for recognition. I would much prefer that people listen to me today and that they be hopeful and courageous about the future of this beautiful, special language of ours. I think nowadays we tend to be negative rather than positive. I prefer to be positive. Irish is one of the most beautiful languages in the world, and we should celebrate the heritage and the richness associated with Irish. I've been in the world now for 17 years. I've learned a lot of things that I'm interested in and some that I'm not very interested in. But probably the most important thing I've learned thus far is that there is great power in positivity. I've never been a negative person, and I'm hoping that I can be positive as the years go by. My parents gave me great opportunities and encouraged me to take on challenges. Sometimes I didn't see the value of those challenges. They are both positive people, and I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I didn't randomly pick up my love for my home place and my language either, because the love of Irish is deeply embedded in the hearts of all of my family members. I attend an all-Irish school, and I'm very happy to be there. We have very helpful teachers, and they give us every opportunity to develop in a comfortable, natural way. I live my life through Irish as much as possible, and I'm not ashamed to say that. What I would really like to see happen is that people be positive about using language. If you can, do. That's my motto. I believe that any person, regardless of their age, can make a huge difference in life, and particularly in the life of a language. Don't be reluctant to use your language. You have inherited something special when you're able to speak a minority language. A special, different language is a wonderful thing. Be positive. Be proud of that special thing. Speak the language and it will thrive. Stand your ground and the language will stand. Be proud, be positive, and create the space in which we can all live together. Now, what difference would I like to make? I would like to see more positive recognition for Irish, not just from the EU, but from Irish people as well. I'm a young person. I'm positive about the future of Irish, and many of my friends at home are in the same boat as me. I don't mind what's in store for me in my life, but with Irish at my side, I won't have any reason to complain. To conclude, I would like to thank the people who organised this competition and gave Irish this great stage in Europe. It's wonderful to hear languages from all over Europe being spoken at this occasion. We welcome diversity, creativity. We welcome these aspects of different languages. It gives us courage because we're not alone, and we know that we can stand our ground to keep our languages safe. One word at a time, little by little. And together, with positivity and with pride, we will bring our languages safely to their destinations.
Thank you, Fionn. Our next speaker comes from Italy, Elisa Zucchelli.
Prova? Ok, perfetto. Ciao a tutti.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Elisa, and I am the Italian representative for the competition here in Brussels. For me, being here represents a dream. We're in this solemn setting, and the environment really is vibrant. Winning this competition was really as unexpected as it was exhilarating for me, and it's led to a series. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous. I'm just a bit nervous. And this has led to a series of positive events, which really I've enjoyed every day thus far. So I would like to compliment and thank those who've made this possible. I really want to thank those of you who made it possible for us to be here together today. I'd like to thank Zidra, who was very, very much involved in my achievements, always available, always a supporting word. Thank you so much. I'd also like to thank all of those involved around her who've made it possible for me and all my colleagues to be here today. This year, the theme we are discussing is Dare to Make a Difference. And in thinking about this theme and thinking about my own personal experience, I've been asking myself some questions. I've been wondering. I think at the end of the day, Dare to Make a Difference is a philosophy of life which ideally should be front and center for all of us young people. What we're talking about here is having the ability to spot an opportunity and to look yourself in the mirror and say to yourself, yes, I can do this. I can do this and I'm ready to give it a go. But perhaps it's not always true. Perhaps you're not mature enough at that stage. Or perhaps the circumstances really are against you. But at the risk of stating the obvious, I think I should say that if you don't try it, how are you going to know if you can achieve something or not? Because by just opting out, you exclude a whole range of options. I go to a technical school, I'm studying chemistry. So as an example, perhaps it comes to mind which you might all understand. I hope you'll get my analogy. In the industrial sector, you have these parallel strips of metal. Any polymers or metals, you have these parallel strips. And these are used to test the characteristics of given materials. They are submitted to tests, traction, stretching, and the idea of this is to test the characteristics of the material so you can best understand which industrial process they would best be used in, to understand what their place is in the world. I think you can see where I'm going with this analogy. So, having the courage to make a difference, for me, means being prepared to challenge your current stability, in the deep conviction and hope, I would also say, that the challenge you're facing up to will help you make a step forward, move in the right direction. While keeping in mind, of course, that failure is one of the options, one of the possibilities. I think it's useful, in fact it's necessary, to be able to consider failure as one of the options, because it's an indicator, it's a light signal which says, hey, watch out, check what you're doing. There are things that perhaps are not best, as good as they should be, and perhaps you should double check and do more, spend a bit more effort on these points. Now, I'm saying this to you here this morning. I might sound convinced, but I can assure you that this is not easy for me either. I'm also saying this to myself. I'm the kind of person, let's say I'm doing a mathematics exam, and if I can't find the solution, my reaction is to think, look, no, you can't do this. You're never going to get there. Let's give up and go and live on a farm and live amongst the cows, and I don't want to hear about these numbers and figures anymore. So that's the kind of person I can be sometimes as well. So, however, I also lucky enough to be and to be able to remember and to call upon positive moments when my commitment has been acknowledged and my talent has been acknowledged, if you like, and this were occasions where I have achieved what I wanted, and I think this competition just goes to show that as well. So once again, I'd like to thank you. I think these positive moments in life should be our driving force. There should be a fuel for us, if you like, which allows us without any doubt to achieve our objectives while keeping high our levels of motivation and self-esteem. Thank you.
Thank you, Elisa. Grazie mille.
Thank you, Elisa. Thank you very much.
Our third speaker is Ivar Lasses from Sweden. Yes, of course.
The stage is yours.
Jag vill börja med att tacka olika folk som betyder mycket för mig.
Thank you. First of all, a word of thanks. I'd like to thank people who are important to me. Eric, Elias, Philippos, Bruno, and Svante in particular. I'm also very, very grateful to my theatre group as well. That's something important I wanted to say. Now, normally I wouldn't have dared to come up here and speak without the support I've got from all of you. So, now, to my address. My name is Ivar Lasses, and as I said, I'm extremely grateful to be here and to be able to speak to you like this. The theme of my speech is, well, daring to make a difference. That's something you would tend to think about if you went for a walk through my home city, Stockholm. If you walk past the Nobel Museum, you will notice, for example, that we don't call it the Nobel Museum in Swedish, but rather the Nobel Prize Museum. Now, it might seem reasonable to display the name of the museum in English to facilitate tourists, but it's not just the Nobel Museum. Everywhere in Stockholm and throughout Sweden, restaurants, brands and places have English names. Having a name in English is considered somehow cooler. Quite simply, it's like everything happens in English, and if you say it in Swedish, it sounds a bit old-fashioned or lame, and that's not just the case in Stockholm. In fact, it's not just the case in Sweden. Wherever you go in Europe, English is usually perceived as a bit trendier and cooler. And of course, American culture is mimicked all over the world. But perhaps I could attempt to counter this trend for a moment, because your language isn't lame or old-fashioned. Quite the opposite. It's amazing and it's cool. And as I said, the theme of this year's speech was daring to make a difference. So I would tend to say, dare to do it in your own language. Because we're so used to absorbing American media that we sometimes feel that we live there, but that's not the case. I've been thinking about the whole issue of language and the difference it makes. Well, I was playing a computer game with my friends. Now, the game is called Omori. It's a bit sad but beautiful at the same time. Now, I was very much captivated by the plot, but I still felt that something was missing. When I subsequently went for a walk with my friends, I was thinking about what that might have been. Because the game was set in a small American town, and it was in English. Now, of course, I understand English, but I was just wondering how it would have felt if the game had been in Swedish. Because Swedish is my language. It is in Swedish that I expressed my strongest anger and greatest sorrow. It's my everyday language and my holiday language as well. It's my all-weather language, if you like. So, no, as I said, if the game had been in Swedish, the characters would be talking like the people that I know. And it would have felt like these were people I knew and I had been there. And imagine it had been set in Stockholm. I would really have felt like I could have been right there. And it would have been far more powerful. I think we've gotten so used to American media, as I said, that we almost feel like we live there, but of course we don't. So that's what I'm getting at, basically. It's better to be yourself and use your own language. All languages are unique. All have their own fantastic characteristics. I mean, there are a number of Swedish words which are fantastic. Vabba is one very short Swedish word, which means that you're working from home because one of your children is unwell. I don't think there's an equivalent in any other language, but in any case, if you've created something in your own language, then ultimately it does have to be translated into other languages so that other people can understand it. Now, what happens if something gets lost in the process? And this can, of course, I mean, I'm sure it does happen, but it's not as bad as you might think. Could I take the example of the Japanese manga comics? Japanese is a very different language from many European languages. There are different rules, the grammar is different, there are different honorary titles, there are little suffixes added after people's names to be polite and show status. If your teacher is Max, it becomes Max Sensei, or if my little brother's name is Svante, then he becomes Svante-kun. Now, attempting to translate all this into other languages is a bit problematic. You don't always have easy equivalents in the languages you want to translate into. So it turned out that the easiest thing in such cases is simply not to translate. What you do is you just use these titles in the translation with a little asterisk which refers to a footnote which subsequently explains this cultural reference. And the readers learn a little bit about Japanese culture in the process. If you were to attempt to do this in your own language, of course, it becomes more personal. You get a bit more of yourself in what you do. I would, for example, prefer to read a Hungarian or Romanian or Dutch book translated into English, rather than a Hungarian book which had been written in English from the outset, because I assume I could learn something. We can all, in fact, learn quite a lot from each other. And I'm talking with you here. I learn a lot all the time. So maybe I could just finish by saying one more time, do everything you can in your own language, use your own dialect, and do it in your own way. That's it. Thank you.
Styrka.
Thank you, Ivar. Taking the stage next is our speaker from Croatia, Dominik Mihalinec.
Lijep pozdrav svima.
Good morning, everyone. I am Dominik Mihalinec, and today I would like to reflect on the topic of technology, its progress, how it affects people's work, whether it can replace people, and how important it is for the progress of humanity and change for the better. Technology has become the cornerstone of modern society. Already now we see how technological progress has improved our lives and made our lives easier. It enables us to perform tasks that used to require more resources, more manpower. One of the recent advances is the development of AI. At the moment, and I don't think that things will change in the future, technology cannot be useful without the knowledge of those who use and develop technology. Therefore, we will never be replaced by technology. It will only make our lives easier. Technological advances can give us more free time, less physical effort, and a better quality of life. Thanks to advanced technology, we could solve problems such as finding a cure for cancer, and we could make those key steps towards the future, such as improving medicine, doing faster research, having a better diagnosis and treatments. Technological development can also enable new and significant discoveries, which in turn will result in the progress of humanity. We should not fear technology. We should use technological progress for our future. And young people have a key role in this. Our generation has the opportunity to make a difference. We can all vote in elections for those politicians that we believe can bring us a better future. We as young people may have different ideals than the older population, but it's up to us to make the decision and make a change. One vote may not mean much, but 1,000 votes can make a difference at the polls. The world is in the hands of young people. We're the ones who have to improve our future. We have to do this with our commitment, knowledge, discoveries, and brilliant ideas. Thanks to all of this, I think that we can achieve significant progress. So we shouldn't be afraid of technological change. We should embrace it and direct it towards the realization of common goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Dominic. Next up, we have Sara Maria Hodanova, the winner for Slovakia.
Hi everyone, it's such an honor to be with you here all today. Today I chose to do my speech in the English language, and it's not because I'm ashamed of my language or something. I'm saying this because of the previous speeches that were given. I am really proud of my language, but today I chose to represent my country in English. So, my name is Sara Maria, and I was born in Slovakia, and I live there. But my roots are in one more country, and that is the Netherlands, where my father comes from and where I lived for a while. I also went to school there for a few years. From these roots grows a tree whose crown stretches over Europe. Dutch and Slovak cultures, although both are part of Europe, are very different. However, I was able to take best from each culture. Slovakia taught me generosity and hospitality, having the house constantly available for guests and family, being ready to serve. It gave me a sense of home and acceptance, and gave me faith in a good God. The Netherlands opened the world to me, introduced me to different people from many other cultures. It taught me how to respect and admire diversity. It showed me how to assert myself and taught me to speak my mind. I noticed that politeness in communication is the norm. The Dutch education system has taught me that I don't need to compare myself with anyone and that cooperation is more valuable than winning. Parents from two different cultures raised me in two different languages, of course. They consistently tied the language to the person, so my mother spoke to me only in Slovak and my father only in Dutch. At the same time, they communicated with each other in English. This resulted in me being able to interpret for my grandparents from the opposite sides of Europe since early childhood. Even then, I tried to perceive and interpret their feelings, not just words. Very soon, I learned to speak English, and my horizons expanded even more. I didn't perceive any of those languages as foreign or strange. I moved freely in them, and it didn't seem strange or exceptional at all. Thanks to languages, every bit of surroundings communicated with me, and I was like a fish in the sea of communication. Tales, stories, poems, prayers, and songs. All this shaped me. I was happy and relaxed in my multilingual world. However, at a certain age, I realized that I can no longer just passively accept and enjoy the beauty of life. I understood that certain things are bothering me and I need to change them. Or at least try to. I knew that I have something to draw from because I had received a lot and I had learned a lot. I noticed that the atmosphere in my country where I live is sometimes difficult and people are not nice to each other because they are going through a difficult time. After all, it has not been easy anywhere in the world in the last few years. And so I try to be tolerant, accepting. I try to separate a person from their opinion and accept them, even if I don't agree with them. I am interested in the rights and status of women in society, and I want us to finally be a generation of women who will be free and respected, but at the same time can respect and give freedom to others. I try to not compete, but to cooperate, support, and enjoy when I see someone is doing well. This choice is sometimes difficult, sometimes even hurtful, but I will not give up. My roots are in two countries. My tree grows and grows strong over Europe, and I desire that it shall be like a tree planted by the water, which gives fruit in the right time and whose leaves never wither.
Thank you, Sara Maria. Our sixth speaker for the day is Thomas Schraas from Germany.
Sehr geehrte Damen.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It's a huge honour for me to stand here today and speak to you. As one of the winners of this competition, I feel obliged to talk about the motto of our event, Dare to Make a Difference. I'd like to tell you about a very unusual meeting I had about a year ago. I was on a school trip to India, visiting partner schools and NGOs that we support. We were visiting PMD, which is the People's Multipurpose Development Society, and it was set up about 50 years ago by Dr. Alcide. He made a huge impression on me. He was born in India, born Dalit, and he told us about his youth and his childhood. The caste system in India has been officially abolished, but it's still quite common in rural areas and leads to exclusion, violence and exploitation. The doctor told us about the village he had grown up in, mostly inhabited by people from his own caste. The infrastructure there was very poor, there was no running water. The social system makes it very difficult to break out of an environment like that. But the doctor worked very hard to improve his own situation, and he was able to finish school, which is not easy in that environment. He worked his way up in spite of the caste system. But he wasn't satisfied with being successful himself. He wanted to ensure other people would also have equality. And he acted, therefore, at a higher level. He set up this organisation, PMD, the aim of which is to give the voiceless a voice. And very quickly his work bore fruit. PMD is the driving force in the region. It's involved in a number of different projects, environmental and health projects, and the impacts are very visible. There's an obstetrics centre, a training centre, and lots of schools. These are all proof of the change he has made. Now, for some of you, this example from India might seem a bit out of context, but for me, it's the embodiment of the message of this competition. It shows us that people can do wonderful things for themselves and for society. Dr. Alcide is a model for us of courage, and we should try to emulate him. We are in a privileged position, and that gives us potential, but we cannot allow this potential to go to waste. We have to use it. As European citizens, we have an obligation to dare to do something and to improve our European society. What would the EU be without change and dynamism? It's the fundamental concept of our League of Nations. We have to harness this strength. We shouldn't rest on our laurels. We should trust ourselves to make a change. We all have the obligation to use our vote and to breathe life into the European dream. Europe must be future-oriented. We are the next generation. We have a duty to take action, because if we take action, hate and division have no chance. That's why I'm calling on all of you today to take action. I don't mean that you have to do anything earth-shattering, but small actions can make a big difference. The everyday small actions will strengthen Europe. Dare to make a difference, because even a small act of courage can make a difference. It takes courage to talk to people in an intercultural setting, but this is the fundamental thought behind Europe, and the community has to be created by people and then continue at the political level. It doesn't work the other way around. Languages allow us to communicate, and communication is what we do best as humans. Communication can be a driver for change. The EU shows us that we're on the right road, but we need more cooperation in order to deal with the crises and challenges of the present and the future. This cooperation begins at the lowest level in our everyday lives when we allow ourselves, when we dare to make a difference.
Thank you, Thomas. Dankjewel. And again, thank you to everyone else for stepping up and sharing your thoughts with us.
As is customary, we will also lend an ear to the teachers.
Yep, it's there.
Teachers. They're a special breed. It takes a huge heart, persistence, patience, resistance to pain to be a teacher. I know it. I've tried it. I didn't last long. After a year and a half, I thought, I don't have it in me.
Well, today we'll hear from two teachers, Katarzyna Zuniga from Poland and David Guénard from France. In her 23 years as a teacher, Katarzyna has faced many a challenge, from grappling with new technology to accommodating students from Ukraine who were forced to flee their country because of the Russian invasion, to tackling the psychological pressure and the stress experienced by an increasing number of students nowadays. Please welcome to the stage Katarzyna Zuniga.
Hello and good morning all. I'm also speaking in English because like this we can rest from headphones, or at least the majority of you can. Well, I'm very, very happy to be here, of course, and to be able to give a speech on such a glorious occasion as Juvenes Translatores award ceremonies. The topic of this year's contest was daring to make a difference. Aren't we all trying to make a difference? 2020. I remember that year so well. I just came back from a skiing trip with my class, and that was actually the last normal thing that I did. We got closed in our flats, we were forbidden from leaving the houses, and what did we have to do? We had to get online. In the world where we, or at least I, did not feel, well, most comfortable. I'm not a digital native as our dear participants are. And it was challenging. It was challenging from the teaching point of view, but it was challenging from a psychological point of view as well. Lesson which reminded spiritual CMCs, you must remember that. Matthew, are you here? Matthew, can you hear me? This kind of stuff. We all have memories from that time. Sometimes it was fun, but we were sending texts, we were sending messages, we were communicating all the time, and yet it was not enough. I remember as a parent, I was staying at home 24/7 with two of my kids who could not go out to meet their colleagues. We survived. Somehow we survived. Then 2 years ago, the war in Ukraine started. For us, the teacher in Poland, it has been a challenging time. Nearly 300,000 Ukrainian kids got into the educational Polish system. And once again, we were placed in an unknown situation. We welcomed Ukrainian kids. We created materials. We worked with kids who knew no Polish in our system at schools. And we found ways to succeed. But it took its toll on us. Do you know that according to Harvard Medical School, 50% of us up till the age of 75 will suffer from at least one psychological crisis? Teachers, parents, students, we try our best. But there always must be a but, right? Students suffer from stress, from overwork. We, the teachers, suffer from lack of appreciation. At the same time, we need to deal with the teachers having problems. The mental health situation, in my opinion, is dramatic. In Poland, for every 12,400 kids, there is one psychiatrist. The problem is mostly with kids. However, if we take adults into consideration, it's not much better. In the whole EU, we have just 80,000 psychiatrists. That gives 27 per 100,000 people in Germany, like you Germans. Bulgaria has only 8, Poland only 9. In my country, public psychiatry is nearly non-existent. Unless you want to pay and wait, you have to wait. Long days, long months, sometimes to get the help you need. But you need it at the very moment. So it is on us, parents, teachers, to react and to help. And we do help. I mean, none of us would be here if we did not care about the well-being of our students. But at the same time, we can't deal with everything. I have been a teacher for 23 years, survived, and loving it. Maybe it's me who is changing, but I believe it's rather a number of students who suffer from psychological problems. There are just so many of them. Every single day at work, I deal with at least 3 diagnosed spectrum kids, not mention the ones who were not diagnosed. 4 with depression that I know of, 3 phobias, not to mention a few simpler cases of unrequited law for a problem with a bad grade. Am I qualified well to help? I'm an English teacher. How much does it cost me? So now I've got a question to you. I'd like you to think about the last week. How much time did you spend taking care of your health, doing things for yourself, self-development? And I don't mean sitting and looking at the phone or looking at the TV. Please raise your hand if it was more than 8 hours. More than 6? More than 4?
Okay, no.
Probably.
Congrats. If I were to be honest, for me it would be more or less 2. Now, can you please think about the situation which happened when you were coming here? The majority of us came on planes. We had the flight crew saying, in case of an emergency, if an oxygen mask pulls out, please place the mask on your face before placing it on your child's. We as a teacher care for students. You as parents care for your children. And at the same time, do we care about ourselves? Do we care enough? How long can we help without needing to be helped? I am daring you to make a difference. I'm daring you to make a difference in your life. Well, I'm daring myself to make a difference, to be honest, as well. I'm daring you to take care of yourself. If you do, you will be able to help others more. And they do need our help. Let's help them reach the stars, win the contests, be themselves. Maybe if we are just lucky enough, we'll see each other then at another Juvenes Translatores celebration. Thank you.
Thank you, Katarzyna. Second teacher to take to the stage is David Guénard from France. Like for Katarzyna, this is his first Juvenes Translatores contest, and he has decided to talk to us about fear. Or rather, David, pourquoi ne pas avoir peur des mots?
Or rather, why not be afraid of words?
Chers organisateurs,
Dear organisers, prize winners, award winners, many thanks for coming here today to this event, which is a celebration of language. And let's not shy away from words. We're also celebrating the cultural diversity of our continent. Now, some people might be tempted to counter that it would be far easier to communicate in one single language, that we could leave the final word to sophisticated tools. In a word, why should we struggle to promote living languages today when we could exchange ideas without using any words, using smileys, images of cats, doctored images of cats, and so on? But without wishing to play upon words, asking you this question is a bit like asking a colloquium of astrophysicists why they wish to explore the galaxy, or spreading fresh products before a group of top chefs, or suggesting obscure words to crossword fans. Basically, we'd be preaching to the converted. So in our modern world, I think it's important for us as linguists to have a word to say as well. Because if you ignore foreign languages, you might never realize that, for example, in Te Reo Maori, the word kia ora means both hello and I welcome you as you are. Then you've got the game rock, paper, scissors, and the order of the words can differ depending on the country you're in. Or word for word, in Slovak they say it can rain tractors, or in Norway they say it can rain trolls. Now Nelson Mandela came from a country which, conservatively speaking, has 11 official languages. Now, he spoke English, but he explained to us word for word why he decided to learn Afrikaans, which of course was the language of his jailers and oppressors, because he wanted to reach out to their hearts and not their heads. Certainly kind words indeed. So, congratulations to all our award winners, because you've been able to find the right words. Our philosophers in the period of Enlightenment would probably have said that you have been enlightened. I think if they could see you here today, they would be bubbling over with pride. They would certainly be sharing their happiness in more than just 140 worlds. They'd probably be creating a Duolingo account, and probably without even addressing each other in words. So every time you've put a word after another, you've been able to open a new window and initiate a new bridge towards another culture. I hope that you will have a path rich in words. You become brilliant scientists, chefs, crossword fans, whatever. But remember to continue to build bridges and windows in the hope that, you never know, word by word, on our old continent and beyond, both understanding and tolerance will never become empty words. Thank you.
Merci, David. Thank you very much, David. So, we have one last message for you, and it's from our very own Commissioner for Budget and Administration, Mr. Johannes Hahn. He cannot be here with us today, so he took the time to record a little message for you. Here we go.
Dear students, dear teachers, dear parents, welcome to Brussels for the Juvenes Translatores Awards ceremony. I wish I could be with you today to congratulate you in person and thank you for sharing your talent, because the Juvenes Translatores competition is much more than a contest for me. It's a celebration of Europe's young giftedness and the beauty of diversity. Languages are at the heart of our European idea. From the beginning on, when the first 6 countries came together to launch the European Union project in 1958, the first regulation ever adopted was, very symbolically, on how the European institutions should use languages. Ever since, languages have helped shape our multicultural European Union, built on shared values of cooperation and solidarity, and united in diversity. Europe needs to speak all your languages, to speak the language of democracy. This allows us all a say in shaping our future. And shaping Europe's future is exactly what we will be doing in the first week of June, when we elect our common European Parliament. Once in 5 years, you can vote and exercise your democratic right to choose who represents you here in Brussels or in Strasbourg. This is not just a mere formality that we tend to take for granted. It's an opportunity to design our European way of life. And this year's contest theme, Daring to Make a Difference, can be our inspiration. You already made a difference when you started learning new languages. You dared to participate in this context. And you found solutions, impressively enough, by using 155 language combinations this year, including Romanian to Swedish and Czech to Danish. Your talent will open many doors for you in the future because, with languages, we open our minds, broaden our horizons, and establish an intercultural bond that helps us, not only to want to understand each other, but to build a future together. The world needs your talent more than ever. Congratulations to the parents and teachers who are encouraging and advising our winners. Your support is precious for the next generation, for all of Europe. And of course, once again, congratulations to the winners. Thank you for translating the European idea into action. Enjoy the ceremony.
So that was our commissioner, Mr. Hahn, and I, for one, am quite proud to be part of the language of democracy. But now it is finally time to present the awards and to get things started. No, wait. Instructions, yes.
Yeah,
sorry.
well, we will call out the winners to collect their awards in the alphabetical order of the member states in their own language, which in practice means that we don't start with Austria, because Austria actually goes by the name of Österreich, so it does not come. There you go.
Yes, so once again, to get things started, now for real, I would like to welcome back to the stage our Director General, Mr. Christos Elinides, who will be handing out the awards. So, first up, we have the winner for Belgium. The winner for Belgium is Ines Hamdawi. Ines is from Antwerp. She's a Dutch speaker, but she has Moroccan roots, so she has been in daily contact with other languages. She is drawn to studying law, but is still considering languages, so let's see where it goes.
Next up, our winner for Bulgaria is Pamela Kalbaktieva, who translated from English to Bulgarian. Pamela has a host of interests which change all the time, apparently. A passion for literature. Books are her safe place, she says. A bit nervous, but excited about what the future holds. And she believes that constant change keeps things interesting.
Congratulations.
The winner for Czechia, Magdalena Ulmanova, who translated from English to Czech. Magdalena likes contemporary dance and cricket. Yeah. Works as a monitor at the British Council. Hey, I used to do that. Hey. It's good to practice English, that's right. Thank you.
Congratulations. Now we have the winner for Denmark, Felke Linegaard Hvitfeldt. He likes to play the guitar, work out, hang out with friends, or watch Netflix, but of course with German subtitles. He plans on studying computers or something linguistic related. Hillike. Now, on to the winner for Germany. You've seen him already, Tomasz Raz. He translated from Polish into German. Tomasz is used to mixing languages at home, as he was born in Belgium from a Polish mom and a Flemish dad. Congratulations.
Our winner for Estonia is Kertu Raimal. Kertu translated from English to Estonian. Her passions include literature, music, and graphic design. She dreams to translate a musical and star in it. How's that?
It's a new one, you know, we're creating it. Now we have the winner for Ireland. Welcome back onto the stage, Fiona Noquishtalva, who translated into Irish. Fionnan loves music and sport, especially hurling and Gaelic football. Fittingly. Congratulations.
Our winner for Greece is Anna Panayotaki, who translated from English into Greek. Anna comes from Crete. Her school curriculum includes ancient Greek and Latin, so that's a good basis to study other languages. Συγχαρητήρια.
Now on to the winner for Spain, Elena Gomez Rodriguez, who translated from English into Spanish. Elena speaks Spanish, English, French, and a bit of Chinese, and she would like to study medicine but keep practicing languages. Enhorabuena. Now we have the winner for France, Jean Fenet, who translated from English into French. Jeanne became interested in English when she traveled to Ukraine, as it was the only way to be understood, and she is currently learning Greek, I'm told. So. Congratulations.
Next up is our winner for Croatia. We've seen him before, Dominik Mihalinec. Dominik translated from English to Croatian. Not a typical linguist, currently studying science and mathematics. But he believes it's important to explore other talents, other languages.
Now, another one of our speakers, the winner for Italy, Elisa Zucchelli. Elisa is quite polyhedric. She studies chemistry, as we've heard, but she's also fond of ballet and boxing. Congratulazioni.
Next is the winner for Cyprus, Andreas Panayotou, who translated from Greek to English.
Switching it up.
Andreas is currently specializing in economics, but interested in many things, from computers to astronomy. Because why not? Συγχαρητήρια. Our winner for Latvia is Katrina Pujate, who translated from English to Latvian. Katrina says it quite simply, being able to speak other languages, the key to the world. I think you're right.
Very true.
Another one on me, the winner
Yes.
for Lithuania, Gantas Novilas Adomkus, who translated from English to Lithuanian. I love what Ganta says. He believes everything is an adventure. I couldn't say otherwise.
Yeah.
You're right.
Seems accurate. Now let's give Micha some rest. I have the winner for Luxembourg, Lena Kraus. Lena translated from English into German, and she already speaks 4 languages, including her mother tongue, Luxembourgish, but she's also studying Spanish and has learned Mandarin.
The winner for Hungary is Kovács László Mátyás. Mátyás, as he likes to be called. He translated from English to Hungarian. Mátyás loves classical music and Formula One.
Now on to the winner for Malta, Amy Pullicino, who translated from English into Maltese, the two languages she grew up speaking. Amy is passionate about traveling and everything that entails, be it cultures, cuisines, or landscapes, and she aspires to a career in law.
The winner for the Netherlands is Pieter Geerse, who translated from English to Dutch. Peter is interested in many things: history, politics, geography. Says languages are helpful. That's fine.
They are. And now the winner for Austria, Clara Bonelli, who translated from French into German. Clara is a piano player who loves nature, camping, and traveling, and doesn't know what she's gonna do yet, but she hopes French is involved.
Our winner for Poland is Rosalia Wróblewska, who translated from English to Polish. Rosalia loves what I think we all do, the sound of different languages, even if we don't understand them.
Now our winner for Portugal, João Francisco Cardoso Fontes. He studies science and technology, which is fitting since he says his favorite subjects are physics and maths. He figured out pretty soon that English wasn't good only for his career, but also for traveling and expanding his horizons. And now we have the winner for Romania, Matei Abalaru, who translated from English into Romanian. Matei started using English to communicate with teammates when playing video games. He's been to 2 summer school programs in the UK, and now he dreams of moving to London and watching Arsenal play.
Next up is the winner for Slovenia, Helena Obid, translated from English to Slovenian. Helena enjoys reading, plays the saxophone in a local brass band, loves languages because they give her access to books and movies.
Now our winner for Slovakia, you've seen her before, Sara Maria Holarova. She translated from Dutch to Slovakian. As we've heard, she's bilingual, but she's also an actor and a singer, and she sees herself studying psychology.
Our winner for Finland is Adele Kujansivu, who translated from English to Swedish. Adela grew up in a bilingual home, Swedish and Finnish. She's interested in science and would like to study cellular biology. A lot to do with languages, obviously.
You've been smarter than we were.
And another winner for Sweden this time. We've seen him before, Ivar Lasses, who translated from English to Swedish. Ivar has always loved to do impressions of people. I'm not going to ask him to do one of me. Thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
He was ready to do one, though.
He was.
He was ready.
Shout out to ESH22, my wonderful classmates.
Woo! And that's it,
I should do an impression of him. Yeah. Thank you.
All done. Are we on time?
I don't know.
So again, everyone, a big thank you to the winners, the teachers, the parents, the interpreters, the markers, the commissioner, the director general, and everyone else who made Juvenes Translatores possible. Wait.
No. Every competition, even if we call it a contest, carries with it almost a promise of disappointment and self-doubt. We've all been there, you know. Am I going to make a fool of myself? What if everyone laughs at my clumsy wording, talking as a translator now? Am I even cut out for this? What's in it for me? Why should I bother? Daring to make a difference starts with conquering fear. The fear of failing, the fear of being mocked, the fear of disappointing yourself, your parents, your teacher, the fear of realizing you're not as special as you have thought. There are probably as many types of fear as there are people. But you've made it. You've stood up to a possible failure and emerged victorious.
Indeed, your mastery of both the source and the target language has impressed the markers, our colleagues, many of whom have been translating for longer than you have been alive. So we hope you're proud of yourself. We know your teachers and your parents are. So we hope you take with you this experience, the award you've just gotten, the sense of accomplishment, the commission, the diversity, the buzz of a EU summit in Brussels. And our congratulations, and never stop daring.
I have to ruin it. I've got two things. Lunch will be served outside. You're welcome to stay. And we'd like to invite all the winners, winners only, to come to the stage and have their photo taken with our Director General. And it's over and out for us. Thank you.
Selfies later.